Hey foodie friends, what are we making today? I'm going to cook a whole bunch of stuff on these Chefman grills. And I'm going to go ahead and do some steak tenderloin, aka filet mignon, some shrimp, some mushrooms, some asparagus, and I'm not cooking all of this. And by the way, when you get asparagus, I don't know if you do what I do, but you treat them like flowers. You cut the bottoms off and put them in water, and then they get nice and healthy until you're ready to eat them. So I'll pull a couple stalks of those. We even got some codfish that I actually got from Sam's the other day, and I've tried it in the pan. It is exceptional. And it was in their fresh fish section at Sam's. And some organic zucchini, because in some cases, some vegetables soak up too much pesticide, and zucchini is one of them. So I'll go organic on that one. Last but not least, scallops. The cool thing about scallops, and I've covered this before, is the way you know they're real is they have a little abductor muscle that's on the side. And I peel them off just because they're a little bit chewy, and that's what they use to hang on to their shell. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this up where it's manageable. I'll spare you all the boring stuff, and then I will come back. We're going to mix it with some oil and throw it on the grill. I'm also going to pull these little pans out. As you see, they can come out either way, and you put water in them, and that's what makes it a smokeless indoor grill, because as it really gets sizzling, the juices drip down in the water, and it doesn't smoke up the house. So it's pretty cool. And in a big bowl, you'll see here in a minute, I'm going to oil everything together because you want it all to have oil on it. And then separately, I'm going to season different things depending on what it is. So I've got my Lowry's seasoned salt and some ground cumin, which is good on seafood and meat and chicken, everything. And my crab seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, and good old salt. All right, so I'll be right back. And what I do with the mushrooms so that they'll sit nice and flat on the grill is I'll just cut flush the stem, and you'll see how nicely that'll work. As I've shown in the past, it's hard to see the minimum and maximum fill line, but it's here. See if I can get the light on it a certain way. Can you see that? That's just so that your water doesn't dry up and then things will kind of get smoky and burned on the bottom. So I'm gonna just kind of set it here because I don't want to walk too far with it. In the past, I tried to walk with it, and that was a little risky. All right, that should be plenty. I remember when I first bought this couple, 2-3 years ago, I was thinking somehow that the pan gets hot, the water, but it doesn't. It's the top that gets hot. So it doesn't matter about the water. It's not like it's going to evaporate out real quick from being too hot. So I'm going to fill the other one and we'll get going. So because I'm using 2, I bought a special cord that can handle the extra, what is it, watts, amps? I'm not really sure. My husband would know. But I like to start these off on high. If you can see that here, it says high. And I'm going to turn on the other one. The last time I tried to use these 2 at the same time, it was on a power strip, so it was flipping off the little sensor thing. So this time I did get a heavier duty cord that so far is handling it quite well. And while I'm waiting for that to heat up, I have oiled everything. And as I showed you the mushrooms, I made them more like a flush type of situation so they'll rest flat. And also the zucchini. I took off the very edges and made them flush. And then the asparagus I'll just lay on there as is. The steak, I cut it long ways in half so it's a little bit thinner. Kind of like if you went to one of those, what is it, Korean barbecues or whatever, you just throw your stuff on there, it's really thin. It's not that thin here though. Got my shrimp in there, it's oiled, but nothing is seasoned yet. So, oh, and my fish and my scallops are in there too. But it's simply oiled, and that way I can choose my seasonings as we go. So you want to kind of just open up and have your seasonings ready. Or you can pre-season stuff, just like if you pre-season to put them on the grill. I'm just going to have everything ready to go, so I'm not fussing with it when it comes time. Now with the garlic, you want to be careful because, you know, that'll burn easy if you're not careful. And you want to make sure it's on the little holes and not the big pore section, so you don't dump the whole thing on your food. Oh, I can feel the heat already. So it's heating up really nicely. I have used metal tongs before, but I want to take care of this, so I've got my long rubber tongs. And the nice thing about the real long ones, if it starts splattering a little bit, you're at a distance, so you don't have to worry about getting hit with shrapnel. Being that the husband is working late today, I'm going to save him some leftovers too, because otherwise he'd be like, "Where's my food? Yum." So I can reach the temperature gauges pretty good, and I can get to them if I have to. So let's go and get started. And Walmart has come out with a newer version of the Chefman indoor grill. It just looks a little bit more rounded on the edges. They think they're claiming it's a little bit bigger, but I'm just happy with these as they are. I have not tried asparagus on here before that I can recall, and it is oily, so it's trying to slide all over the place. But you need it to be oily so it doesn't dry up. All right, next I'm going to put the steak on. Well, you know what? Let's put the proteins all together. Oh, listen to that. Yummo. And I'll probably turn it down here in a little bit. Zucchini. I'm so happy that the plug, the heavy-duty cord, is handling this just fine. You don't have to put everything on at one time. When I'm with Brian, we usually just do a little at a time, but I don't have a whole lot to make here. So I'm just going to throw it all on as is. And then I'm going to season it. All right, put the fish over here. The fish will probably cook a lot quicker. The nice thing about too is I can turn one down so it's not cooking all too fast. Put my shrimp on. As Brian says, shrimps. And then I'm going to save some room for my scallops. I did a lot of shrimp because me and the husband just love this grilled shrimp. It's very good. Usually when you have two people, somebody can keep an eye on one part and the other one keep an eye on the other. So I'm going to feel like some kind of a chef at some restaurant where they got to keep an eye on everything at one time. Because I'm running out of room on this one, it's no big deal. I'll put the scallops on the other one. Now I like my scallops still swimming, like really. So I like them nice and rare, medium rare to rare. This little guy, he's split in half, so look at that. Check that out. Isn't that cool? I'm going to keep my tongs on here so that, because you know it's got like the raw food on it, and I also got 2 forks so I can also maybe easily flip with forks if need be. So let's start seasoning. Now we're talking steak, so I'm going to just put a little bit on the steak, and that is it for this because that's more of a steak thing. The ground cumin is really good on the shrimp. Shrimp already has a pretty salty flavor, so you don't want to overdo. This cumin never comes out really good, and I like it on steak too. So shake some there. I'll put my crab seasoning on my scallops. My table's probably going to be a mess. It'll probably go everywhere. Oh, I don't need to leave that open. I don't need any more. A little bit of garlic. I want the little garlic on the asparagus and the zucchini. Another thing that has a lot of its own flavor is the codfish. So I'm not even going to add salt to it because I've had it before and it's rather salty. But onion powder has no sodium, so that makes it really good. So really, the salt I'll probably just... This is the beauty of just cooking as you go. I'm not going to use salt because mushrooms go so good with steak. I'll stay with the steak theme on the mushrooms. And just dab a little on there. You got to kind of squeeze it, get it out. So is everybody seasoned? Yeah, I think so. And you can season it again when you flip it over. But remember, you can always add. You can't take away. So if you over season it, you're kind of stuck with it. Let's see how that... Oh, look at that. Come on now. Look at that. And I like my steak medium rare, more on the rare side. It's flip this fish side, see how it's doing. Okay, so the house is starting to smell amazing. The shrimp, I can let them sit a little bit longer. They might be easier to flip with the forks, but just have your forks ready, have your tongs ready, and go for it. Look at that, doesn't that look beautiful? I mean, really. Definitely do not want to overcook scallops. They will turn into a rubber mess. See how these mushrooms are doing. They need to sit a little bit more. Zucchini, let's see how the zucchini's doing. Oh, look at that. How cool is that, right? Cool little grill marks. Everything's oiled, so it slides around, almost slid off the table. You don't have to worry about it burning up. I think some people like to oil the grill, but when you do that, you've only got oil on one side of your food, and then you flip it, and it's all kind of dried out. And I like my zucchini a little bit, like, not too soft, and that way it's not all stringy when you go to cut it apart. Okay, so the fish is so delicate it's trying to fall apart. So I'm going to get a spatula for the fish. While I'm getting my spatula, I need you to know that the whole house smells amazing, just amazing. I'm going to come and flip the fish from here because I can reach it really good. That bowl's kind of in my way. Might have to figure out something out with that. Yeah, the fish is going to cook very fast. So I'm going to actually toss these kind of like I do when I'm outdoors grilling. And then I can individually turn them as I need. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Look at that. I'm going to make sure everything is touching the surface so it gets a good, even cook. Yeah, it'll be much easier to reach over everything with just this here. Well, let's see how all this is doing. And as I'm done, I'm just going to plate it. And then normally you put it on your own plate from there and give it a try. I smell that sizzling goodness. I'll let it sit on that side a little bit more. See how the mushrooms are starting to get kind of like wet inside because they're very watery. And that's how you know they're starting to cook pretty nicely. Definitely don't want to overcook this scallops. These little tongs work pretty good. Sometimes you need forks, and sometimes you need spatulas. Definitely don't want to overcook the steak. I mean, that's a beautiful steak. In fact, I'm going to pull that pretty soon. I'm actually going to pull the fish off, and that's something that Brian is not going to try. No worries there. He is not a fish guy at all. But I want you to see how pretty this is. I like my fish tender and juicy on the inside, kind of translucent. I don't like it to turn into rubber. But this cod from Sam's is really good. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. Look at that. Just don't want to drop it on the floor. That would be no fun. And when it's all done, we'll taste test it. But right now I got to focus on these things. Okay, this one little scallop that fell apart, it's done in my opinion. I mean, you can always taste test and try it, cut it, see how it feels to you. But that half scallop was half the size, so it was cooking very quick. Let's flip these over. It's all to your preference. I mean, you can just poke, like these don't feel done enough to me. They're still kind of, this one's starting to get softer. You see how it's softer in the middle? Turn my asparagus a little bit. All right, I can hear the shrimp talking to me, so let's go ahead and put them one at a time. I've left it on high because I think high is okay at this point. I've turned it down before in the past, and sometimes it's just got too low. But I'll tell you what, it sure is nice that the power didn't go out on me, that the cord is handling this power, the plug in the wall is doing just fine. Look at the color on these. I mean, look at that. Yum. Come on now. Put that over. But I've shown in the past where Brian doesn't cook. If you know my videos, you know him. He does not cook. But this is the one time that I can get him involved. And so if you have kids that are old enough that you can kind of trust around the grill, they would probably love to help you do this, and it's very simple. You oil it, you pick your seasonings, and you cook it. Just make sure everything's flipped. When I'm in the grill, as you've seen with my grill pan, it's kind of got edges on it that stick up, so I can just flip it back and forth with the spatula. It's a lot quicker, but you know, it's okay. These shrimp are almost done. Let's get this guy over there. He's not getting as cooked, so you can kind of see. You get little hot spots and not as hot as spots. So I'm pulling this steak. I'm calling it. Move it over, give some room for the scallops there. All right, let's see how my scallops are doing. You can do chicken, you can do bell peppers. I've done onions. Onions are a tough one though. I did them more where you cut them like in the round, like you're doing onion rings, and try to keep it all together and flip it, because onions, I mean, everything needs to have surface area. It needs to be touching the surface. I think this one's almost done actually. Yep, I'm gonna pull that zucchini. I want you to see how pretty it is. Try to stab it so I don't drop it. Look at that. I'm gonna tip it, but I don't wanna. Look at the steam. Yummo. So we'll put those here as they get done. I'm thinking my forks are working out better than the tongs. It just depends on what you're cooking, really. But when I go to scoop everything off, I'll just use the spatula. So I think the shrimp are done. I'll turn this off. And let this go a little bit more. I poked through, and these are done. These are done. These are how the restaurants usually do them. They don't cook them to death. They just cook them till they're seared, basically. See that? Look at that. Give this one a little bit more browning. So just waiting on the mushrooms to cook. And the mushrooms don't have to cook all that much either. They don't have to be all rubbery or mushy. You don't want that. So see, I'm poking through, and if you can't really poke through, you want to give it a little bit more time. Again, it's all on how you like your vegetables done. But yeah. And then when I'm done with this one, I'll turn this one off. And then we will taste test everything. Asparagus is looking good. I can just almost get my fork through it, but I'm gonna let it go a little bit more. And it's kind of trial and error as you do these things. Let's make more room. We're gonna put the shrimp there. Brian's going to be happy with his leftovers. I already know it. As long as he doesn't eat any fish. But he loves crab. He loves shrimp. He didn't used to. It was all chicken, nuggets, you know, kids' foods, mac and cheese. But I got him to eat some of the good stuff. And he doesn't normally eat zucchini, but he loves it on the grill, both indoor and outdoor grill. Let me show you how pretty this is. Look at that. Isn't that good? So we're almost ready. And the other thing I've noticed is if you have picky eaters, like my husband, or people that don't want their stuff as done or less done, then you take some off early and leave the rest for them. So this one's done too. But look at the nice, let me see if I can show you. I don't want to drop it. That nice crispiness on it, just on the edge, on that scallop. Almost done with these. That's the water dripping out of the mushroom. Look how pretty these mushrooms are. I mean, I'm just telling you. I forget how I even discovered this grill. It was years ago, and I thought, oh, I've got to have that. Because if it's raining out or the weather's icky, and like today it was very windy out, so I don't like to grill in the wind because it blows my fire out. All right, I'm going to turn this off. I think it's about ready. So let all that cool down. Let's put the mushrooms there. The only thing I forgot to get is a knife, so I'm not hacking at it like a wild animal. So I'm gonna, oops, we got a runner. He's trying to escape. Look at that. So I have my other seasonings on standby. I have a feeling everything's going to taste just fine as is. But again, keep them nearby so that your family can add on what they want. All right, first things first, I'm going to try this steak because it looks amazing. I cut it thin so it cooks faster, but look at how easy that cuts. Come on now. Oh, Brian, you're going to love your leftovers. Let's give it a try. It feels so weird having a feast like this without him home. But when he gets to work late, it gives me time to do my thing. This is delicious. He's going to love it. It helps to have a good cut of steak. I got these at Walmart, as you probably saw in the picture or video earlier. That is perfect. A little bit of seasoned salt, and I didn't even do the other side. A little bit of cumin, ground cumin, to die for. All right, we'll just kind of go in order as we hit things. Let's try this mushroom, which looks amazing. I don't know if you like mushrooms. Fresh mushrooms are the bomb. When I grew up, my mom did canned mushrooms. I thought those were the bomb, but this is so good. They're so fresh. Amazing. But see how I made the bottom flush so it would be on the grill evenly. Now, if you're using that grill pan that I have that you've seen in the past, I'll show it to you here. Bing! That makes it where you don't have to like cut the mushrooms or worry about flipping things. Like I said, just get those spatulas in there and just start mixing and stirring. It makes it a lot quicker. So you can keep your stems on there. But I just take the stems off so they're nice and evenly cooked. And it's got little crispy spots on it to die for. And you know me, I will tell you if I don't like something, even my own cooking. So let's see how the asparagus is. Because I usually do asparagus just in a pan with some butter. See, it's cutting just right. It's not stringy. It's just perfect. I think it's very good, but I should have left it on for about another minute, maybe, just to give it a little bit more tenderness. It's kind of like a little bit more of a green bean that's not cooked all the way down, but it's good. Now, I will tell you, asparagus can get a little bit bitter when it's on a grill versus, cooking it in butter and stuff like that. But I like the flavor. But Brian does not do asparagus. Surprise, right? But years ago, we were at a restaurant, and he had some kind of pasta dish, and he'll tell you this, and it looked like it had green beans in it, and he goes, "Oh, these green beans are really good." And then I didn't say anything, and towards the end I said, "That's asparagus." He goes, "Oh." And he didn't know what to say. And I don't think he's tried asparagus since then, but he loved it. I'm going to try the cod, which is cooked, in my opinion, perfectly. See how it's glistening? It's not see-through, but it's not like solid white either. It's just kind of right in the middle. It's so good. It's so tender, but not mushy at all. It's got a nice bounciness to it. If you're familiar with cod, you know what I'm talking about. It's the most delicate fish ever. It's so delicate. As you can see, I could hardly flip it on the grill. And in that cod that they give you, it's like a big, huge slab at Sam's. So they even have the cod belly, which is like salmon belly and tuna belly. So let's give that a try. Okay, that's really good. If you like cod, you've got to try it. It's not easy to do on the grill though, but it's very good. All right, I'm going to save the shrimp for last. I just know they're going to be good. I can just tell. So let's go ahead and dig into the zucchini, which I know he will try when he gets home. Cuts perfectly. It's not mushy. It's very good. I don't know if I'd have to look back if I put onion powder, garlic powder, but in this case, you can always add, can't take away. I'm just going to put a little bit of salt, just a little bit. give it another shot. The consistency is perfect. And just a touch of salt is perfect. Yeah, that's really good. You want a bite? Only if you like zucchini. Here you go. All right, so let's try the scallops. That is where I threw a little bit of the crab seasoning on it. Cut through it. Ooh, that's close, because I like it really rare on the inside, but it's probably perfect for most people. That is so good, and I gotta tell you, I've had a hard time finding scallops over the years that aren't gritty or extra chewy and sometimes fake. They cut them from, I think it's called hake fish and some other fish, and they shape it, and there's no abductor muscle on it, so you know it's fake. A lot of people don't know that. I've been to restaurants, or you get the fake crab that it's like fake imitation crab, imitation lobster. It's all the same, and they cut it in little circles and they make it like a roll, almost like they roll it up, so it kind of gets this sort of texture look into it. So I actually bought this at my local international store called Coco's International Food. It's like Coco. This is the best scallops I've ever bought, ever in my life. Now Sam's for a while there had some really good quality scallops, and then over time, I don't know if they changed, but it was more of a gritty, more of a chewy. When you buy them, try different places, but if you have some international stores in your area, try them from there too. Just try one from the other, and these are the bomb. All right, last but not least, let's try the shrimp. Let me show you how pretty it is. And shrimp is just, you know, again, it's all on how well you like your seafood done. I don't like it overcooked. Sometimes you go to a restaurant and it's like eating, I don't know, a rubber ball. But look at that. Look at that. It's crispy on the outside, but nice and juicy looking on the inside. Perfectly seasoned, because like I said, most shrimp already has a salty flavor built in. If you haven't tried cumin, I mean, I just discovered it a couple years ago. Please try it. It is the bomb. But put whatever you like on it. So they're both on, they're heating up, and so far so good. It hasn't kicked any breakers, or before I had it on like a, what's that thing called? If you like these types of videos, it would be a huge honor to have you subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.